Hi, this is my presentation on normal and abnormal horse behaviours, focusing on the case study of a cribbing horse. So to get started, I'm going to review the normal behaviours of a horse. So I've just listed typically the normal behaviours of a happy horse. So the nostrils, their face in general, their eyes will be quite relaxed, there won't be any tense features on their face. They might be in lateral recumbent position where they might be lying down. That would show a very comfortable horse. They would be excavating and weeing normally, which would mean that there's no issues going on. So yeah, there's just some of the things I picked up on. The ears of a horse would be quite droopy to the side. They won't be alert or like pointing forward, because that could sign quite a stressed horse. So yeah, so these are a lack of, this is what could cause stressful behaviours, as we've seen in the case study. So exercise levels could change, so change up a horse's normal regime or like the daily thing they do could get a horse stressed, which is quite common for competing high level competing horses, is exercise induced stress, where they might be being ridden too much, or training schedule becomes too difficult or changes significantly. Change in diet can often lead to stress in horses, eating something different. So yeah, horses should consume 5 to 15 gallons of water each day, so tracking their water intake can tell you if the horse is stressed. And another thing which I picked up earlier, a busy schedule. So this is often in performance horses where they're on the road a lot, they're travelling. This could give them upset stomachs, it could lead to ulcers. So yeah, if they're not used to getting regular turnout, this could be a big issue, especially with this competition dressage horse. It probably won't get turnout, which could be a big issue, as it won't be eating grass, it won't be doing its normal function. So that could cause a horse to get stressed and cause cribbing as a stereotypy. So next, so this is what I picked up on, what are the effects of stress in a horse. So chronic stress could lead to, like I was saying, gastric ulcers, weight loss. Gastric ulcers are definitely very common in horses that get stressed, and this could be lots of moving around, transportation, stereotypic behaviour. So it could cause stereotypies like cribbing, chewing, box walking, wall kicking. All of this could be as part of stress. Yawning could be a reason of getting the stress out. It's releasing the endorphins. So yeah, teeth grinding and trembling, sweating, and a large pulse, all which can be tracked and evaluated. Those are all signs of a stressful horse. So yeah, high performance horses are susceptible to mainly gastric ulcers because of how much they're doing. Feeding while moving can be a big issue. The housing conditions can change a lot of the time, which would this would severely affect a horse's health, because it would mean they won't be performing as well. They might be uncomfortable when tacking up. The grinding of teeth or cribbing could lead to mouthing issues, which could lead to a problem with acceptance of the bit, which could be a big issue for the horse in dressage, because you could lose points essentially for it trying to like avoid the bit contact due to cribbing. It could downsize the incisors in front of a horse's mouth, which could lead to like root canal problems. I think you need horse dentists out, so it could lead to a lot of problems, which ultimately will affect its performance quite badly. It would hinder it. And another thing which could be a problem is mares in general. Mares go on season. This could be a big problem where the horses get stressed, especially if they're around a lot of stallions. It could leave them with a lot of problems. They could be pacing her down, getting really stressed, biting at the stomach, which could do not good for competition horses. So cribbing, as the horse that we're looking at this case study shows quite a lot of cribbing. Cribbing is a stereotypy. It's basically the repetitive behaviour of grinding on a hard surface and moving its neck up and down and breathing in air. So the horse will be grasping at a fixed position to de-stress. There are physical preventions of cribbing, including cribbing collars, which strap around the top of a horse's neck, and it basically doesn't allow the muscle movement to occur. You can have surgical approaches where you actually take out the muscles that they are doing it with, so a horse physically can't do the action of taking its whole head back and forward for cribbing. There are such things as cribbing grease, which you rub on the surfaces, and that stops a horse from cribbing, as it might be a toxic or sour taste, so the horse doesn't do it. These could all induce other stereotypies to come over, as if a horse can't crib for a stressful reason. It might find something else to do, such as box walking or kicking or biting at things. So yeah, those are the cribbing. So I was looking at stable design, and I thought there could be many reasons to cribbing. It could be stress, it could be how it was raised, it could have seen its mother cribbing, it could just be in a really stressful environment, it could be medical issues, it could have nervous system problems where the neurons just don't line up with the central nervous system, which could cause like lots of problems such as cribbing. But how to stop cribbing, I suggested in the stable to make it seem more like home, as this is a competitive dressage horse. It might want something from home that smells like home, smells like something it knows. So a Kentucky calming stable toy, which could be good. The smell of lavender inside it is supposed to be calming. Treat balls, so it's quite stimulating, it gives it something to kick around and play with, much like a licket. I also thought of large hold hay nets, so it has a constant supply of haylage. That just means that I also suggested to have 2 hay nets of haylage tied up, but large hold, so it can always get to it. So some horses get bored of hay nets because either you have to sort of work for it, so they might just get bored and start cribbing, whereas if it's large hole, it's easily accessible, and if there's 2, if one starts to run out, it's still got the other one, so it doesn't ever run out of haylage and it doesn't get stressed that way. Another thing would be a cribbing collar or a cribbing strap. It just makes it uncomfortable for the horse, as the neck muscles as he pulls back to gulp in the air, so it might stop them from cribbing, much like using cribbing grease. If you put it on the surfaces, it might stop the horse, but it might just induce other things and other characteristics to occur, such as box walking. So I found quite a statistic. So dressage horses actually have a higher rate of cribbing than most other horses, which I find quite interesting, as this is an international dressage horse. It will be travelling a lot, it will be moving from place to place, and especially in like the busy seasons where a lot of big shows are on, it will not get turnout, so that could be a big issue for a horse. It might want turnout, be used to getting the grass that it needs. So the only way I can think of is to give the horse in the stable at the minute more contact with other horses, so it can be more like horse characteristics, see other horses and not feel as stressed or isolated in the box, as it's quite scary that it's too boxed in by cinder blocks, so it could be quite intimidating to the horse. So I say windows or like bars so it can see other horses, and install a grid if it keeps on cribbing. So yeah, boredom is often the sign of stereotypic behaviour, such as cribbing, or gastro problems in the stomach that could cause cribbing due to pain response. So another thing is the frequency of cribbing varies within the diet. Fed sweetened grain increases the frequency, so I'd actually possibly change the diet of this horse so it possibly gets less sweetened grain, so maybe more like cool cubes or like Ulcer-kind cubes from Top Spec, just saying to change up its diet, but not too much, just so there's less of a sweetened grain, so we could assess if that stops the cribbing. But yeah, thank you for listening. Here's my list of references. Thank you. Bye.